Hello you beautiful peeps, my name's John, welcome to my channel. Yes, as Halloween's about to hit us, I made a couple of Frankenstein cars. Frankenstein, yeah, no, we could have gone a lot more crazy, like for example putting the wider at the rear, wider at the rear and smaller at the front and stuff like that. There's lots of combinations you can do, obviously. Changing the wheels makes a very, very big difference. Now we all know that, sort of diameter wise, but obviously the 144001 versus the 184016 wheel diameter changes this one into quite a little beast. And I suspect on a 3S, it will mean that this one can now go easily over 100, but that we will test at some future date. Today, I don't have time to show you both cars, so that one with the wider stance, this is obviously the 144001 swing arms here. We'll have to go there, and we will concentrate on this one today, the WL Toys 144001, because it actually takes quite a while to swap everything around, and I want to show you in detail for those that wish to do that. Good suspension at the rear, isn't it? So, let's get right into it. We have to do things like swap ball joints over and things like that. This is actually really quite an old 144001. In fact, I think this one may have been one of the originals. So what's that? 2 years old at least. You can tell there, you know, it's been well used and not very well loved, but loved as in taken care of. But you know, all in all, I think they are one of the better valued cars out there right now versus price. If you do speed versus price, this one without doubt is one of the best. Now, these are obviously the swing arms off the 184016. No modification required. They fit straight on, which is so cool. There's been a few compromises, like for example at the rear it has the original shocks, but at the front we have to have the 184016 shocks. The reason being that there just wasn't enough travel left on the 144001 shocks. Literally you could move up that far and then there was no more travel, so you have to have these ones on there. But I will start at the front and explain what you need to change to be able to fit this. Obviously, swing arms, that's obvious. You have to swap those around. Now, to use the shocks from here, obviously the ball joint is the original one from the 184016, and it bolts straight into the top, the normal mount there, so that does not need to be changed. But the two ball joints for the tie rods here need to be swapped out for the 184016 ones, and the tie rod is obviously from the 184016. The steering arms, again, the very same thing. This one here is not the original from this one. I actually had to find a set that fit. They were just a little bit too short, and I think it's because the here is a little bit sort of further in than what it would be on that one there, or yeah, no, further in, that's right. So as you see, I had these laid around, so let me give you the measurement so that you know exactly what size that you would need to buy. Get that like that, and it needs to be 41 millimeters. Oh, I'll actually do both sides because they can be different, can't they? I mean, it's the same, basically tie rods, isn't it? 39 on that side, so between 39 and 41, and they'll fit there. Again, on these ones, there is no ball joint, as you can see. So that's just a bolt that goes straight through. So that's fine on that. What else needed to be changed? Nothing. These are the original 144001 wheel hubs. And, oh yes, obviously the CVD here that goes into the wheels, basically the drive shaft, they are from the 184016. Very, very obvious. Nothing else there. Over to the back, the rear. As I said, the original shocks are straight in, but you obviously had to make a slightly bigger hole to fit these in. Keep that in mind if you were thinking about then swapping it back to the original, because the hole will be too large then. But a little tip for you, I keep the end of tie rods. What's wrong with me today? Cable ties. As you see, nice little pointy end there. What you do is you put that into the hole that's slightly too large, and then the screw will grab onto that. So I always keep these quite handy, really. So obviously you have the swing arms from the 184016. The suspension I've just mentioned needs to be screwed in, and then the tie rods. You have the 184016 ball joints there and there, so they obviously have to go in there. I have to mention this, sorry, I have to mention it because it is so very important. The ball joints, the ones that are the original, not specifically these, well no, actually all ball joints, let's be honest. Ball joint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. As you see, there is a nut on the other side because obviously the ball joints that are originally in this car are larger, so the holes were larger, so once you put them through they just fall out. And I tried with the trick with the plastic there and it held, but I don't know if it will hold enough for something like this. So I actually had to order these especially because they're 2.5 millimeters and I had none of those, or M2.5. So the locking nuts, it's pointless getting because as you can see, the thread is not long enough to go all the way through anyway. So save yourself the money on the locking nuts. 2.5 millimeters if you're going to be doing the similar sort of setup. Okay, so M2.5. Some of you are going to be asking, but why would you do this? Why would you like to bring this in? Well, if you wanted to put a sort of a touring car body on it, something, you know, this is just an example, but something like this on here, well, obviously the original, the wheels are going to stick all the way out, aren't they? So what you would want to do is have a shell like this that that then goes onto a body like this, with the track further in, so it's not sticking out as much as what this one does here. So that's the reason why. Somebody mentioned that they wanted to see whether they could sort of turn it into more of a touring car, which obviously you can. You can lower the suspension, put more sort of foam tyres on it and have a nice, obviously remove the rear wing and have a nice touring car shell on it, which is very cool. And that's about it. There was no other modifications that needed doing from what I can see. No. I was really impressed that these just bolt straight in, but I think you saw on the video when I took this car completely apart and compared it against this car, I was really surprised how many parts they'd used from this on this, because the car's so much smaller. 1/18th versus 1/14th, or specifically 1/12th. These all share the same parts, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So I have tried this car just quickly on the roof, but I'm going to go out and do some proper driving to show you how it now handles. I'll do it on the original tyres, but I am also going to take the 184016 tyres with me, because now that it's got the shorter stance, it actually fits it quite well. I thought it fit it quite well. So what I think the next thing we should do is to get this car out onto the gravel and see how it handles. Let's get on.
On a cold night, tonight. On a cold night, tonight.
So we just did 2 quick slow-mo shots of this, and when I'm steering, the cover or the body is actually pulling up like this because the tire's dragging it up. And I'm like, oh no, it's ruined, it doesn't work. Well, of course, if you're going to be doing this to your car, making it thinner, you probably aren't going to be using this shell anyway. So for now, I'm going to have to drive with it off. And as you can see, I put pretty much a brand new shell on it, and I've already gone and scuffed it up. So let's see how it gets on. I know one thing, it's going to be very messy in here afterwards. Oh well. So, we've moved to a tarmac area with this car because over in the area where we were, there seems to be a very fine layer of sand. And the 104019 that we just tested, I couldn't keep it in a straight line. And then I put this on the gravel and you've just seen yourself, it's like it can't stay in a straight line. So I think it's just the fine sand there. So we brought it to the tarmac area here to see how it handles. We all know how the 144001 usually handles on tarmac, don't we? So let's get on. I forget how fast the 144001 really is, considering it's brushed. Now would that have happened if you had the shorter wheelbase on it? Sorry, the wider wheelbase on it. That I don't know. Sorry about that, Colin. It would do that anyway with the wider wheelbase, I reckon, I think. Still makes me smile. Even after this many years, it still makes me smile. And if it can handle that well after about 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years. Stop giggling, Colin. It can happen to anybody. Have I got your bug today? The ability to roll anything instantly?
Maybe.
All right, I think I'm gonna have a bit of a think about this, let it stew in my mind, and we'll head back to the studio. Ow. Welcome back to the Blue Mat. Okay, so the handling wasn't improved, that's for sure, but it wasn't really that much worse in my opinion. Obviously you're going to have your own opinions about that, but of course we were running the original tyres and then we tried these tyres, and that's not what decreasing the wheelbase is about, is it? It's about turning it into more of a touring car type car, so you'd have more sort of the slick tyres, or you know, the tarmac tyres. So I put some tarmac tyres on, and as you can see it looks completely different, but I don't have any shells in this size, I'm afraid. This is obviously a 1/14th and I just don't have that, so I've just put this on as an example. There are lots of options that you could do, but obviously the whole point of bringing the wheels in is that they'd be covered. So this is just an example. But to show you, obviously ignore, it doesn't fit, I know that, but to show you that obviously the wheels would be in on a shell that's probably 1/12th, 1/14th in size. Let me just quickly turn it on the side. So I can see why people would want to do it. I have also lowered this. If you put a screw in there, and there, you can lower the car right down. You can even take it down even further, like so, to make it, again, into more of a... sorry, just making sure the microphones are on. Yeah, that's weird. Just to turn it more into a tarmac monster, which is obviously what you'd be looking at anyway. I don't think you should... make it thinner if you're continuing to be on gravel, because that's just going to make it less stable, and that's illogical to me. So there you go, ladies and gents. I hope the video has been useful for you. If it has, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, stay safe. Bye bye.